Going back to school here on BBC4 tonight, Grange Hill is coming up at 25 to 9. Now though, time for a very special birthday on classic Blue Peter.
And with her candle-lit cake and all her cards and presents here in the studio, Petra really is having a memorable 12th birthday.
Well, I think she looks in splendid condition, considering she's 12 years old now.
Yeah, in fact, it's hard to imagine, looking at her, that she is such a very old lady. And we'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who's sent her a card or a present. And you can see we brought them all to the studio today. They make a splendid display here. And although she is rather an old lady, and she appears to have gone to sleep for the moment, she still likes a game. Petra, hey! Petra! I've got a ball for you. You got to chase it. Come on. Come on, get lively.
Come on, Petra.
You hang on to Shep.
I'll hang on to Shep, because it's a handicap race.
Go on, Jason.
Okay,
I've never seen them move so fast.
Hang on, I'm still hanging on to Darkling.
At this rate.
With the ball, with the ball. Right. Okay, Shep. And Shep's gone away now.
No, she's following the scent.
Amazing.
She's got there
She's got
first.
it.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Shep, you missed out on
Surprise.
that one.
Well done, girl. Oh, it's a clever girl. We're going to stretch her for
Yeah,
you.
well, Shep's definitely going to end up sharing that ball with her, I think. Probably beating her to it most of the time.
Hang on, she's got to come all the way around, yes?
Come on, then.
Go on then, girl.
It's a lap of honour, because it's her birthday.
Yeah.
Well done.
Petra, terrific.
Well,
Terrific
something
girl.
else that Shep's definitely going to end up sharing with Petra is a rather magnificent birthday cake. It's a special birthday cake for dogs, and underneath the savoury icing there's all their favourite food.
Well, we'll give them a slice of that in just a moment. But first of all, let's take a look at some of her presents, because she's really been very fortunate with her presents. She's been sent two rather nice quilts here. They've been hand-stitched from bits of various kind of material. Those look rather nice in her basket. She's got a vast assortment of biscuits, and you're having a good rummage there. Things to chew of all kinds. I know what you can smell. Someone very kindly has sent her some chocolates. They're her favourite kind. You want some of those? Eh? Thought you would. Thought you would. And as well as the other chewy things that there are, there's quite a lot of bones, some just to chew and some that squeak like that, which don't seem to interest her all that very much. But I think she's been very lucky with all those presents. She's also been rather lucky with her cards. As you see, she's got hundreds of them. This is rather a nice and unusual one. It says Snap on the front of it, and the reason why, you'll see when I turn it round, because it says, Dear Petra, as we both have our birthday on the same day, and we're both going to be 12 on November the 4th, I'd like to congratulate us and wish us both a very happy birthday from Georgette Frank.
It's a plural birthday card.
That's
Very
right.
nice. Actually, I've got a beautiful birthday card here. It's in the shape of a cake. There's 12 candles burning away on the top there, and there's the numbers 12 there. Some rather pretty daisies along the bottom there. And if I open it up, you'll see that there we are. There's Petra's name in very bright pink and 3 bright pink hearts along the bottom.
And there's another rather nice one. This is a bit of a fun one, actually, because there's Petra around a birthday table there. It says, I'm 12, as you can see, and this cake here's for Shep and me. Underneath is Jason saying, after all the things I've done for her. Really, it's a nice joke, because inside it says, Happy birthday, Petra, you're not that mean.
No, she really isn't, actually. She's lovely. Here she is in the centre of another unusual card with drawings of her 8 puppies all the way around there. Down at the bottom here, a drawing of poor old Patch, who you may remember was with us on the programme until he died, rather sadly, 3.5 years ago. And at the bottom here, it says, Happy birthday to a grandmother. Well, that's not a mistake, because inside the card, there's a picture of 3 of her grand puppies, Mandy, Brandy, and Dandy.
And here we have Petra in CinemaScope, rather a long Petra this, having a bit of a dream there. And she's dreaming about my birthday. What fun. Juicy bones, a new dog bowl, extra food for tea, or even birthday cake, which she's got, and presents, a nice cosy basket to sleep in, with a new thick woolly blanket, and there will be thousands of cards, and right at the end of the dream, with all that, I'll have a smashing birthday and I'll be on television as well.
Actually, her dreams have come true. She is on the telly, and I think she's received most of those things, hasn't she?
Yes, she said.
They really are smashing cards, and we'll cut the cake in just a moment and give both Petra and Shep a nice taste of it. But as I said, thank you again for her cards and presents, and I think it just goes to show what an extremely popular dog she is. Now, I don't know if there's anyone watching now who can remember Petra being on Blue Peter for the very first time. If there is, they must be at least 15 years old. It was on our Christmas programme in 1962, and amongst the presents around the tree was a large box covered in Christmas paper with a special Blue Peter label. Petra soon grew from a ball of wool to a floppy, long-legged, gangly puppy. We bought a large kennel with a perfectly good front door, but Petra soon found a more spectacular way out. Petra's always had the knack of making the most unusual friends. She and Tom the donkey would play like this for hours. But we never let her off the lead in a field of animals she didn't know, and she was trained never to chase sheep, lambs, or cows. September the 9th, 1965 was a red-letter day in the Blue Peter calendar. It was the day Petra presented us with her 8 puppies, and she herself was nearly 3 years old. And this, believe it or not, was poor Patch's first appearance on Blue Peter. Petra was a marvellous mother. She kept a close eye on all her pups and washed and cleaned them every minute of each day. It wasn't long before the blind, helpless puppies became 8 of the fiercest young dogs you've ever seen. Besides Patch, there was Rex, Rover, Candy, Prince, Kim, Bruce and Peter. One of their favourite games was a tug-of-war with one of Val's old scarves. It was Bruce who started the cardboard picnic cup game, and in no time they were all doing it. Whenever she can, Petra takes part in all the things we do, like the time when John and I visited Daniel, our Blue Peter baby, to build a shed for his donkey.
Oh, yeah, well, we've got a slight hole there, and we've also got a slight problem that we've got to get the Petra. There we are. Hit the nail. Hit it. Oh! You hit the wrong nail there, mate. Pie. Yes. Peter seemed to be getting on much faster than the 2 of us. Very good. Hey, look, it's standing up all by itself. Have you finished work? Suppose you want your wages, right? Here are your wages. You haven't done any overtime yet, mate. Your nails come out. As soon as I got out the jelly babies, Petra appeared from nowhere, but she was unlucky. Daniel wasn't giving this one away.
One of the proudest moments in Petra's life was when she was 8 years old and she was asked to sit for a famous sculptor. Tim, who draws the Bengo and Bleep and Booster pictures, wanted to make a bronze statue of her. Petra's head was the first part Tim was going to model, and he set about it using strips of plasticine, which he'd warmed up, so that it was nice and soft and easy to shape.
First we established the exact lengths. She's got a rather long...
She has. She's a long snout, and it's fairly thin, too.
Yes. Established the ear. You see, that's about the height of the ear. Can I just have a look? Yes.
Well, I think she'll probably sit here now, Tim.
Yes.
Get your ears up and your head up. All right, now stay. Good girl. I thought I might be in the way, so I got Petra to sit and stay and hoped she wouldn't get bored. It was going to be a long job, so I settled down to watch Tim at work.
That's right.
The finished statue was a splendid likeness, and today, on her 12th birthday, Petra still looks as bright and alert as she did 4 years ago when the statue was made. Petra, come on and be bright and alert just for a minute whilst they give you your cake. There you are. Look. There you are. You're going to be alert. She's very sleepy this afternoon. But before anyone complains that we're overfeeding our dogs and making rather fancy food for them, this is all made from lunchtime scraps. And it is food that they like. There's a few little bits of chicken off the bone there.
Oh,
Nice.
is that nice?
Happy dogs, happy dogs. Well, one thing we're definitely going to do tomorrow is to make sure that Petra, Shep and Jason are well out of the way, safe inside, indoors for Guy Fawkes Day, because like many animals, one thing they aren't too fond of are loud bangs and explosions.
Yes, and if you want to enjoy November the 5th, one of the best ways is to go along to a big organised display where there's no danger of getting hurt. There'll be firework displays and bonfires all over Britain tomorrow. Thanks, Shep. But the village of Great Torrington in Devon had its bonfire last Saturday. A most unusual one it was, and I went along to lend a hand out with the preparations.
Torrington's bonfire is always special. This year, the Bonfire Committee decided to build a huge Viking ship. It reminded me of the Shetlands Up Hellier Festival, only this boat was about 4 times bigger. Just about everyone in Torrington brings something to make sure there's a good blaze. The man in charge of it was Larry Alexander.
I should think everybody gets rid of the rubbish on this, don't they?
Well, everything but the kitchen sink, I think. In fact, I think we've had 2 sinks.
Is this the record this year?
For length, I shall imagine so. It's 150 foot long.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Tell you what, let's go around and have a look at the back, shall we?
Right, yeah.
The ship was one-sided. Round the back it was a mess. A huge timber framework packed solid with rubbish. Ladders led up to a sort of deck where more helpers were working on a mast that towered 85 feet up in the air. There was a traditional dragon figurehead, and like all Viking ships, rows of shields lined the sides. The ship wasn't going anywhere except up in smoke, but even so it had an enormous sail.
Well, the wind's getting up, Larry. It's about 4-5 now.
I tell you what.
Oh, yeah. Right. Hold it. Hold it. Rip it. Hey! Where's he go? Hang on a minute. That sail's not down properly that side.
The bonfire was due to be lit at 8 o'clock, and with 9 hours to go, cooking had already started on an ox to feed the hundreds of spectators.
Well, I reckon that was a good morning's work, was that? But there's something I can't put my finger on. I've just realised that everybody in the village seems to have got beards. Why is this, Dave?
Well, that's for a very unusual event that we're going to put on this afternoon.
1100 years ago, the Vikings invaded at this very spot, led by their king, Hubba. Today, the battle was to be fought again, and this time the Vikings were going to be led by me.
Right.
Yeah, well, by the time we get a bit of blood around them this afternoon, because it's coming. There's no 2 ways about it. You're going to have blood.
It's not real blood.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
yes,
I think it's going to be a few accidents on this
I
afternoon.
can take tomato ketchup, but not blood. Feel like eating a sharples. Right. My bonnet. Thank you. How's that? Do I look fierce? Right then, off to battle.
Right, lads, kill 'em! As one man, the Vikings of Torrington brandished their wooden swords and rubber axes and set upon the Saxons from nearby Appledore. I just started to enjoy the fight, but unfortunately, as the real King Hubba died in battle, I had to fall at the right moment and stay down. Legend has it that the dead King Hubba was taken by boat upriver to be given a magnificent Viking funeral, so my acting part was far from over. After the boat, I was to be put on a cart and bumped through the streets and back to the Torrington funeral ship. Acting dead was getting a bit boring, so I was pleased when a kind Saxon lady slipped me a sweet. Back in the olden days, dead Viking kings were put on the ships, which were then set on fire and pushed out to sea. Everything had been very realistic so far, and it was quite a relief when I was allowed to get off the cart.
We'll get this effigy up as quick as we can, John. Right. You come over here a minute and...
In my place, a stuffed dummy was hauled on board the funeral ship. It wasn't a good likeness, but rather him than me.
Got the wind, didn't he? Yeah. Let's get all this off. Can you take my wig off?
Yeah, all time up.
Pull my whiskers.
Just pull.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, very scruffy, as usual, but not to worry. There's the fireworks. Okay, are we ready to light the fire?
Time to light the fire.
Stand by! I think we're going to have to move back.
Yes.
Right, back.
It was a great day for everyone. The battle and the blaze between them had raised over £400 for Christmas parcels. So thanks to King Hubba, Larry and all his helpers, the old people of Torrington will have a very happy Christmas.
Profitable and enjoyable day for all concerned.
Yeah, I reckon that fire will burn for a few more days, yes.
Sure it will. Well, there's going to be a lot of fires tomorrow night. If there's no big bonfire or firework display anywhere near where you live, and you're going to have a smaller one on your own, then please be very careful with your fireworks. Simple things to remember. Keep them in a box with a lid and keep the box well away from the fire. Don't light more than one firework at once. Please don't carry them around in your pockets and don't throw them around.
No, last year there were 1,200 accidents on Bonfire Night, so it's worth taking extra care to make sure nothing happens to you.
No, or to your pet, so make sure you look after them. Now, over to Lesley.
Well, we said on Thursday that today we'd be showing you exactly what goes on behind the scenes here at the BBC Television Centre. To do that, we thought that we'd show you the BBC's biggest studio. It's Studio One. And it's so enormous that I feel pretty small standing here. Well, of course, I'm not alone, because apart from John, Peter and myself, there are an awful lot of other people who work here too. If I added up all the electricians, cameramen, engineers, floor assistants and makeup girls, there'd be well over 50 people all working and helping to get Blue Peter on the air. Well, the measurements of Studio One sound like something out of Roy Castle's Record Breakers. For a start, there's 990 square metres of working floor space. 2 of the walls measure 33 metres long, the other 2 measure 30 metres long. And if they're putting a play on here in the studio and they have to get scenery in and out, then there's a huge pair of doors which, when they're open there, provide a space which is 5.5 metres high and 4.25 metres wide. Big enough, in fact, to drive a double-decker bus through.
Well, when the scenery gets in here, it's then slung by wires up to the roof. Well, not really onto the roof, but electric motors called hoists. All the lamps are on hoists too. Over 500 of them can be raised and lowered at the press of a button. But the lamps aren't controlled down here. They're operated from upstairs in a control room. And Pete's there now on the other side of that glass panel.
This is the lighting control room, and from here, Lance, who's the lighting supervisor, is able to control all the lamps that you've seen out there in the studio. Now, for instance, if I want to fade down the lights on the background of the Blue Peter set, all I have to do is press one of the buttons on this panel here, because this is a mini computer and it's able to remember a whole selection or group of lamp settings. So if I want to fade them down, I'm going to press this button, and out there in the studio the lights fade right the way down, and then to bring them back again, all I have to do is press this one and they come straight up again. And I was able to see what was happening there by looking out through a window here out into the studio, from which Lance can see everything that happens in the studio at any time during a programme.
In Studio 1, we can use 5 cameras. Some of them are on pedestals and they're pushed around by the cameramen, like camera 4, for instance. Actually, it's quite a skill to push the camera around and get a good picture at the same time. And some of them are on a camera crane, like this one.
And this is one of the largest camera cranes that is used by the BBC. It's called a Sam Master, and it's used not just for indoor camera work with television cameras on the front like this, but for outdoor filming as well. It's got this huge, great lorry, which you think might be rather noisy to work inside a studio, but in fact, when it's in the studio, it can be worked off electric motors. Now, on the business end of this long boom is myself, who's been the cameraman, this camera, and I've got my assistant Dave, who's also a cameraman. But Dave's job is to turn the little wheel round there. So Dave, if you can turn it, you'll see now that the whole camera and myself swing round, so I can find sort of really any shot that I want. OK, Dave, if we go all the way back. Well, it needs 4 people to raise this boom to a fantastic height of over 7 metres. So, OK, fellas, 2 sort of push up, and then the back 2 then get hold of it at the back and pull down. Ah, and we're quite high. Now, if I swing the camera around, or Dave turns us round, I then zoom out, you will now see what a fantastic shot I get. So, OK, fellas, can you let us down again? And there again, it takes really 2 to get us down. And OK, Dave, if we can swing round, you'll notice too that we're wearing crash hats. And this is just in case any of those lights up there are a little too low and we go a bit too high and there's a rather sudden contact between our heads. We're also strapped in, so if anything does go wrong, we can't actually fall out of the seats. So I'll tell you what, let's go up again, can we, fellas? Sorry for all about the hard work. But each camera in the studio, its picture is shown on a little television screen in the control room, which is inside there.
Well, here in the main control room, you've got a whole bank of television sets across the bottom here. Now, these are showing the pictures that are being given out by each of the 5 cameras here in the studio. Now, above them, you'll see there are 3 more sets, and this one here in the centre is what we call the transmission monitor, and that is the one that's showing the picture that you're seeing at home. Whatever we see on there, that's what you're seeing at home. Now, if you're lucky enough to be watching Blue Peter today in colour, then you'll have noticed that only this one and this one are actually colour sets. All the others are giving out pictures in black and white, and that's because these 2 monitors here are really precision-made instruments to give a perfect colour picture. They're very expensive, far more expensive than ordinary domestic colour television sets, so the BBC make do with just 2 here in the gallery. But because all the cameras are giving out different pictures at the same time, there has to be someone here in the gallery who decides which picture you're going to see and when to change from one picture to the other. Well, the person who does that is the studio director, Ian, and he's sitting here. Now, he's talking all the time to the cameras as the show is in progress. He talks them through this microphone here, and the cameramen hear him through their earphones. Sitting next to him is the vision mixer, Shirley, and she actually controls, with this panel, the pictures that you see at home. And she just, in fact, cut to camera 2, which is that one that I'm speaking at now. Now, if you look behind me on the bank of monitors there, you can see on camera 5, there's a picture of Lesley with Petra, Jason and Shep. She's really waiting for me to finish up here. Well, I'm not going to yet, but what I am going to do is press camera 5's button, and there at home you've got a picture of Lesley down there in the studio. It's really quite simple. And then by pressing button number 2, I can get the picture of the panel back here again. Now, in front of those buttons, you'll see there are some sliding devices here. These are called faders, and it's self-explanatory really what they do, because by moving them like this, you'll see that Lesley's picture fades up and the picture of the faders disappears, and although you'd much rather carry on looking at Lesley, I'm sure, I'm going to bring the faders back like that. And that, again, is on camera 2. But in fact, I don't wish to look at camera 2 anymore. I'd rather talk to camera 3, which is over here. So press the right button, and up comes camera 3 shot. Over here on this wall of the control gallery, there is yet another control room through that glass panel. That is the sound control room, and Dave, the sound mixer, is sitting there in front of a whole other bank of faders. But these faders are nothing to do with the picture that you're going to see. These are to do with the sound that comes up from the various microphones in the studio.
Thank you, Leslie.
And the sound is picked up by these microphone booms, and these follow John, Pete and I around in the studio wherever we happen to go. Well, normally they're set a lot higher above our heads than this, so that they don't creep into your picture that you're getting on your television set at home. And because of that, John, Pete and I have to speak in quite loud voices. Well, so that we know exactly when we're on the air, in other words, when you can see us on your television sets at home, we've got Claire, our floor manager, who gives us various signals by waving her arms around to tell us when to stop, when to start. And she gets those signals from the studio director, and she can hear what he's saying in that earphone there. And you see her waving her arms around. That means we're out of time now. 25 minutes is just about up, and it's time to round up the programme. Well, we'll be back on Thursday, and I shall be showing you how to make the furniture to go in the doll's bedroom.
And one of Britain's top footballers will be here in the studio with some special tips.
But before then, tomorrow, Bonfire Night, do be careful with your fireworks. And if you've got any pets, keep them well indoors, out of harm's way. So we'll see you on Thursday. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Coming up tonight, from pencil drawings to puppets to plasticine, we discover the trials of making children's television before we embrace the digital age. Going from Andy Pandy to Zebedee with the golden age of children's TV at 9. Next, though, Zamo's getting desperate, and Julia and Laura are all out of luck. Classic Grange Hill.